reserve currency formula, which Nixon and Henry Kissinger jointly created. And I believe that no mature civilization would come up with this, uh, sorry to say, a very dumb formula to stay rich. Because what happens is, a civilization which has the wisdom of being a continuously living civilization like that of India and China would never go for this kind of formulas of staying rich by just printing money or just by having money and passively investing in somebody else's business, right? The extreme proportions of debt, which has increased in the West because of this particular lifestyle, spending lifestyle, one life consumption model, which comes from this Abrahamic religious value of that this is the only one life that you have, and you need to consume everything in this life itself, and this life itself you need to win. So from this comes this consumption model based on debt and credit, right? So you need to understand that the Western countries, instead of the southern part, which Aditya ji, you are talking about, the South America portions, right? Instead of choosing them, the Western countries chose to tie up and shift manufacturing to Asia, right? Because one thing you need to understand, wherever there's going to be a massive amount of manufacturing or a model of export economy, which like the Chinese have, there's going to be a lot of pollution, right? Wherever there's going to be manufacturing. So there's going to be an exploitation of the natural resources in those areas. But, the Western countries chose Asia to be the manufacturing hub. And I'll tell you, there's a logic behind why they chose the Chinese specifically, the Chinese labor specifically. Let me put one quick fact about why China is also moving towards de-dollarization, why they also do not want to do any more of exports to the West. In the last 40 years of the exports that Chinese have done, they made around $3 trillion in their reserves. That's the profit they made, right? Literally. America printed around $14 trillion in just last 3 years and distributed to Americans for free. All right. So there is a sense of realization that the entire effort of becoming the manufacturing engine for the world got wasted because the United States dollar looted them like some colony. All right. Or should I say it's because of the torture of the Chinese labor that the Western countries are enjoying the freedoms, the good climate, and the democratic rights which the West talks about. So what I see now happening is that Asia is saying no more. We are not going to make our invoices in dollar terms. We are not going to make our payments in dollar terms. We are not going to reference and value what we produce and sell in dollar terms. So this is what we are heading towards. Now, as you rightly point out that there are poor countries in South America which can become an option to Asian manufacturing. Perhaps that is what one of the clues we may get here from. But the fact remains that this particular fiat model of just having a financialization role for and being reached by that's not a long-term wise formula. I mean, someone like me, and I mean, people talk Henry Kissinger as some, a very expert diplomat of those years. But that is a very short span. I mean, 50 years, if your formula is breaking like this, I don't think it's a wise formula. So if United States or the Western countries are thinking that the developed world, so-called, are going to think that they are going to shift the manufacturing from Asia to South American poor nations, and that is how they can still continue being rich, I really doubt that, because many of the South American countries are on board on this de-dollarization decision, because countries of the world have realized that the social benefits which are being printed in endlessly in the United States, that cost is being passed to them when they do transactions and invoicing in dollar terms. So it's basically the rest of the world taking the burden of the American lifestyle. It cannot happen anymore. I mean, it's been 50 years. It cannot happen anymore.